Hi, and welcome to another fine evening of Evening Rust. And there, I did it again. I said the redundant title, but that's okay. I'm going to keep trying it. I'm edA-qa mort-ora-y, and on this show we do Rust coding. We do it on Coding Game over here. And we try, mainly we're programming AI bots at the moment. So we're doing AI bots. On last night's show, I was a little bit frustrated near the end, but I made up for it early today. I wasn't showing it. I fixed up some of the bots. We're going to see how that comes a little bit later, but for now we're going to start the show as we always do by doing a clash of code. Let's join one of these and see how well we do. Looks like it's going to fill up rather quickly, and just want to check something. Where's my cheat sheet? I don't actually use this cheat sheet, but it has links at the top. Let's just hope it doesn't start binging on me. Go through our standard ad over here. There's Jasper. Wonderful. Alright, so Clash of Code is a typical fight, and we don't have to wait long at all, so I had no warm-up time, so we're just going to jump right into this. Let's see what happens here. We just have to do it fast. You must get some of the first n even natural numbers. For example, if n equals 4, we'll get 2 in some of these. Okay, so I guess that would be, I don't know how to step range in this, so if n mod 2 equals 0, I don't know how to do this in this language. M plus equals n, let mut m equals 0, I32, print m. Let's see if this works. That guy's done really fast. Found 16, we have to go to n plus 1. Found 0, expected 30. Whoa, what happened there? M mod 2 equals 0, m plus equals n. Something went weirdly wrong there. What value is that? I'm not expecting that. 5. First n of them? Uh-oh. Got something wrong. No. What does it start? It starts at 2. Times n plus 1. Doing something horribly wrong. Oh no, we're going to lose horribly. What have I done wrong? I read it wrong. Yeah, it's okay. That's not the problem I'm having. You're not even getting to that point. We're failing on the simple ones. I was working, and then what happened? You must have the first n even natural numbers. For example, we'll get 2, 4, 6, 8. So we start at 0. That's fine. We go to 2, and it has to go 2 times n. Cool. Let's cheat. Let's do whatever it says. I guess we can't put that in there. Uh-oh. What do I have wrong here? Mismatched types. I need to do something here. Take n is probably supposed to be U size. Feels like cheating, but okay. I don't know what's wrong with my loop. I thought you can just go infinite. I think you can just go infinite here. Alright, so it's going to overflow, and we don't have a way to fix that. We don't know how to do that, so let's just forget about it. We did pretty bad. Oh, wow. I gotta see what I did wrong with my code, though. Yeah, okay, that seems to be clever. Some of these guys come up with a math solution quite fast. I guess if you do algorithms enough, you just realize this n times n plus 1. Yeah, I guess that works. That's correct. N times n plus 1, but that still might not work. N times n plus 1, and we did a loop. N times n plus n, yeah, same thing. So they all did the same thing. We're not going to share our code because we failed. That wasn't very satisfying. That was a bad way to start. Let's just start again. Why was my code not working though? N times... Why was this not working? I don't know why that wasn't working though. I'm a bit lost there. That should have added them up. Oh, let's go on. Let's just play again. And I guess we don't get Jasper this time. Sorry. Beat it quickly, Jasper, and make up for that horrible performance, hopefully with a little better performance. And what a bad way to start. Not only did I get the wrong answer, but we get it slowly. But thanks a lot, Avarice. That's a really nice solution there. Just cleaning my glasses. Oh, I get Jasper, and we have Sasha back as well. But yeah, Avarice, that's a really clever solution. If you just do an infinite list and filter it, and then take the amount and sum. I was hoping something like that was possible. That's really cool. But yeah, we can't get the biggest number there. But that's because we were using I-32. We probably should have put I-34 in. It probably would have worked. If we went to, I-64. I-64. You do clashes. Jasper's doing... You're not really doing two clashes at the same time, are you? Joys of... Yeah. Yeah, functional programming, it's one of the nice things when you can do little things like that. Of course, the algorithmic solution, the algebraic solution was a lot cleaner here, but I don't know. I don't come up with these at the top of my head. I do a lot of math, but seriously, I don't come up with answers that fast. It's amazing. And so, Jasper, you're really doing more than one, Jasper. Yeah, if you're done one, you can finish another one. Yeah. Why would you want to do two, though? It's really curious. Okay, so that's going to be the poorest performance I've had on this in a long time. I hope that doesn't draw my ranking down. We're doing pretty good in the ranking there, but I thought my loop was okay. I don't understand why the loop is wrong. Huh. Really? Even doing live, Jasper? Why would you even want to? Okay, I see. So Jasper, I think is asking, yeah, if you've done one, you can start the other one. You don't have to wait for them to finish. And you can actually see the results later. The results actually show up in the notifications tab. You can click on them and then see the solutions. So you don't have to keep the tab open. You can just go back later. We often do that. The problem is, of course, we leave where we're at. Oh no, we're not going to have many people. This is bad. Now I have Jasper here as well, and Sasha. And we've seen Layden a few times. I don't think he watches the show. And Kerbibi, I was chasing him this morning. Yeah, no one waits for something. Kerbibi I was chasing this morning. He was the top of the competition we're doing in the Bronze League, and I was right behind him. And we'll see where he ended up in the Silver League if he went further. And oh, we got Inkoyan here too. And Inkoyan doesn't join that often, does he? But okay, we're up for some good competition right now. Here's hoping to a really, really confusing statement to give me a chance to get it. Somehow I can decipher them. Just not golf, not golf, not golf. Okay, fast. I don't like gases. Is a game played by a group of people where each person will call out numbers in ascending order starting for 1. However, the number satisfying the following conditions. The number is divisible by 7, the number has a digit 7 in it, the number of digits in the number is divisible by 7. Then the person has to clap instead of calling out the number. If the person does not perform the correct action, he loses. Given an integer and determine how many claps there have been if the game has been terminated and including n. An example is shown where 3 players A, B, and C are playing a game. Clap, 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 clap. Oh my god, this is awful. for I in 0 dot dot n plus 1. We're going to have to count all the claps. Clapping, clapping. Let mut-c equals 0, probably I32. C n mod 7 equals 0. Do we start at 1? We do start at 1. C plus equals 1. What else do we have? We can just continue here to make this easier. It has a digit 7 in it. How can we do it? If the sum of the digits, shit, this is where the functional stuff's going to come in. Format n dot I chars dot, oh god, there's got to be an index of, come on, find, iterator find, dot find. This is going to be a problem. I'm going to slow down here, so we need to do a find dot iter dot find. We'll just say x and x equals 7 if is sum c plus equals, this one contains the 7 in it. We continue, it has a clap. This stuff's really hard now, or if the digits add up to it, so let's do the same thing. We'll format it again. Format characters iter.map and x as u8 minus 0 as u8 dot sum if sum mod 7 equals 0. Now there's going to be syntax errors here, but I think this is correct. So we're just checking all of them. Those are the three conditions. And what do we have for errors? Chars is crap. We can't do that. So let's do into. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. What is the result of format? That's my problem. Okay, so I'm stuck on something here. And what is the result of format? Oh shit, that's what I screwed up. Thanks. It's still a private field, not a method. Okay, right, it's already an iterator. Yeah, that makes sense. Expected char found reference, so let's just put an X here. Seven. Sum. It's going to have to be sum I32 probably. Shit. Let's do this. Just make this a long line as I32. Found 3, expected 4, so we're missing 1. Starts at 0. What are we missing? Let's try the other one. We're missing lots, so one of our things here isn't valid. Okay, so the number is divisible by 7. We got this covered here, okay. Okay, and if the formatted number contains a 7, we add 1. That should be okay. We format characters, we format I. It finds a 7. That should be plus 1. And I'm guessing this one here is where the problem is. X as u8 minus 0 as u8. The sum of the digits. So we have a problem here with the sum of the digits. Sum I32 mod 7 equals 0. Uh-oh. Yeah. I'm summing the digits. It's cryptic for me too. So I'm summing them right here. Put it this way. So we print it out. We do characters. We map the characters to x. X as U8 minus U as U8, 0. So that should convert it to ASCII. Times I32, and then we sum them up, mod 7. Okay, so I'm missing something. What's wrong here? One of these conditions is failing. I'm guessing it's this last condition. Let me check if it's actually this last one. We'll still get 3. No, the last one's not failing. Is it this one? They're both missing, so they're both missing some. Just a second. So we're doing poorly again. Oh, wonderful. Clap, 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 clap. 16. 16 should be fine. Println. Well, just so we're doing. So we're not going to win anything here either. Let's print out I. 8 and 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Clap. 13. Clap. 14 should have been a clap. And why is 14 a clap? Because it's 2 times 7. Why is this one, why is this not triggering? Oh shit. Oh, that was pretty bad. We just made a mistake. We had I instead of N there. So we probably had it right pretty much the first time, except this last one here. This last one is... We took too long, so let's remove the print line. We can't process fast enough, whatever. So we can't do a loop. I'm fine with that. There must be an algebraic solution then. Nope. Loop. 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 Our loop is just too slow. That sucks. Debug mode. So one of these things, this format here is probably exceptionally slow. And I mean, we are in debug mode, but seriously, JavaScript, Ruby, these aren't exceptionally fast languages. And so Jasper did a loop, and he did a string, and he did a... Wow, he did basically the exact same thing. And the JavaScript code is fast enough to do the solution, but the Rust in debug mode is not. Oh, that doesn't bode well for us for the other competitions. And I think Ncoin probably stepped away from his computer. He does a lot better than that. And alright, whatever, I don't want to rank that one. Right, so we're just gonna move on. I just skip this competition. Let's go over to the actual competition because my warm-up today was not so good. Compete. And we'll get to the good news over here. The good news over here is that in Code for Life, if you notice, I'm in the Silver League. Yay! Silver League, Silver League. And what's surprising is that I'm 61st in the Silver League. I was expected to be very close to the end, but we're 61st. And let me explain how we got there, because when I left us last night, I was basically frustrated and annoyed that we're stuck in the Bronze League. But now we're actually in Silver, and I'll go over what we actually did to get there, or what I did this morning. It took quite a while, and there's a lot of nuances to the code. There's a lot of nuances to the scoring. And I can open this all up, make sure we have everything open, get rid of my proxy. I recommend proxies going online. I just still can't figure mine to get mine out. This is a local connection, and Foxy Proxy is great, except you either you can't filter out local connections unless you put patterns in all of them. It's weird. So let's open this up. Why is it select? Oh, it's a different rank. I think whenever I change leagues, it somehow gets a different file. Upload file to the IDE. Yeah, so somehow it gets a different name for the leagues. And Jasper, if you're watching, is that a bug? Every time I switch leagues, it loses its file association, like the actual name of the competition has somehow changed. I don't know if there's a way to fix that. It would make sense, but it'd be cool. So what I changed is, so for anybody watching, let's go through the last battles. Let's see what I actually ran in this league. And let's look at one I won. Known issue, non-documented. Okay, so you do know about it. Wonderful. Now it's officially documented on my show. It's not a major issue. It hit me, though, when we actually came... Yeah, what hit me the most is that even if you don't change the pages, it changes the ID on here, and you lose the connection, and it stops updating. And I had that issue when we were jumping through leagues in the last competition. When we were going through the wood leagues, we jumped and it just stopped updating, and we didn't notice that, and it was really weird, but not tragic. We don't jump through leagues very often, so let's take this one where we won. Let's see how we won. If we done well, or he just did something stupid. I'm hoping it's a good one. This is one picked at random, and it's completely black, so it's really exciting. Let's just send the parameters to the IDE and watch it there. So, and it's playing something. There we go. So this is the competition. We're the red guy, which is really hard to see who the red guy is, but that's this guy here, I think. Or, yeah, we did something stupid right away, but somehow we're okay. I'm really aggressive in pulling out rank 2 samples somehow. It really wasn't intended. I realized to beat it, taking rank 2 is good. So we already have this pretty big lead on the guy. And putting the rank 2 samples in really helps for that. Because it's really hard given the time for somebody to catch up at that point. Of course, now he's catching up. So it might be close. And you notice I always pick out a rank 1-1, and that's just kind of something weird that came out of the algorithm. I never really intended to do that, and so this is pretty close, so we might have some Twinkie here. So that was pretty close. We did beat him there, and you notice he won some other ones, so we're pretty close there. And in the matchups, if you notice, they actually match us up the same person many times with different seeds. And so we're kind of hit or miss with him. We're kind of hit or miss the whole way. But that's okay. I guess near the end we must be, some places we're good against some, but that puts us right sort of in the middle of it at 62. But let me go over what we did to get there. What I went over this morning is in our code, and close some of these windows. Way too many open. So welcome one always comes up. I mean, we can get rid of it. That's good. There we go. So what was the first thing I did? The first thing I did was from rank. This had an error here that originally when I was creating the sample, so when we estimated what the move would do, we have to create a sample from the rank. I had 0 here before, which is wrong because 0 was never given out in the game, and it uses -1 to identify is diagnosed, and you can see that right up here. And so that messed with it a little bit, but that only had a minor effect. The second one was in score samples. What was very important is when I had a diagnosed sample, or undiagnosed, we take this value of the rank. If it was undiagnosed, we just consider the rank, and if it was diagnosed, consider the health. But the problem was then that sometimes a ranked item would have less score than an unranked one, which would mean diagnosing it would actually reduce our total score, which means our robot would never do it. So what I've done now is I've added the rank and the score together, which guarantees it's always higher. It guarantees now that a diagnosed sample is always worth more than an undiagnosed one to force him to diagnose that. So it's always a better state. Now keep in mind, this score has nothing to do, well, it's not directly related to the game score. It's an artificial score that says, what's our value of this position as total in the game? You'll notice I also added one up here. This produces a negative score. This thing, if it's diagnosed, and what exactly is it? Max molecule count. Yeah, basically what it's saying is that for every outstanding molecule I have, every molecule this thing needs, which I don't have covered by expertise, it puts a negative score, and because that makes it riskier. That gives me a chance that I can't fulfill all three of them. And what I also did outside here is in this bad count here, what I do is I count how many of the current samples I have I can't possibly fill. That means I don't have enough spaces left, I don't have the expertise, there's no way I can collect enough models to fill them. And if the bad count is all of them, then I return -1,000, because this is a horrible state to be in. It's a horrible state to be in to have 3 samples that you can't fill up, and it means you have to get rid of them. This will force it to, at the diagnosis, when it sees this, the -1,000 will basically end up favoring the one where it just gives away the sample. It says, get rid of this, get rid of this. And in the normal one here, normal saying being unable to fill is not that bad otherwise. Okay, and what else I fixed? I wrote it down, and state test. Yeah, and the other weird one was, of course, we had to be very careful here about staying at the laboratory for go-to, because something like this, we wanted to count how valuable was it to be here, and we had to make sure this score is higher, because remember, we're checking the score in the future. We apply the turn and then take the score of the resulting state. And so we don't have a comparison. So we're not actually analyzing the turn, we're analyzing the resulting state. And so when I do this, max samples minus how many I have left, when I pick up that last sample, this becomes 0, so it doesn't contribute to the score anymore. So what this means is I had to carefully balance the scores to ensure that an undiagnosed sample is worth more than not having a sample. And that phone here again is ringing on me. I think that's my daughter's phone. It has a different ringtone for like everybody who's on it. It's really weird. And I don't know who's calling her at this time. It's really, really late for that. Okay, but anyways, so the scoring became very delicate to balance. But the way I changed the scoreware is I simplified scoreware a lot. I tried to make scoreware just a count of like, or semi-count of how many things you could possibly do at this point. Like at each place, at the samples, what can I do? It's just like, I can collect this many samples. And at the laboratory, what can I do? Well, I can give up this many samples. And you'll notice there's a +5, and this is just to offset doing something else like a diagnosis. And a diagnosis is the same thing. What can I do? It's slightly offset for rank. I don't know how good this is. But what this ends up doing is that where has a very, very minimal score. And what this ends up doing is it prefers doing something with the samples. It basically says prefer everything with the scoring samples instead, because moving around sucks and it's slow. So where contributes 0, but basically if you have nothing left to do, if there's no way to adjust your samples, then this scoring is enough to choose where to go. And I'm trying to think of another one. Yeah, and then there was one more thing I did, or did I back out of it? Right here. There's a square root in here. When I'm sitting at this counter here, the little molecules one down here, pulling out molecules, I had to ensure, okay, let's say, ignoring the square root first, what would happen is that every time you call a molecule that fills a sample, it would increase the score. The problem was that I very often ended up with a dead state. And that's why I ended up creating that loop that broke out of the dead state where I'd have samples that could not be filled anymore. So what the square root does is basically the sample completeness it gives it a nonlinear curve. It gives it an exponential curve instead. And this favors samples that are more full. So this would mean if you have two samples that require 5 molecules each, and you already have 1 in one sample and 0 in the other, giving 1 more to the one with 1 is preferred over giving 1 to the one with 0. And the weird thing is the health comes into play here too. So it's a little iffy, but the square root did seem to help a little bit, but I'm not sure there. We really have to care for that. And this all combined, this weird, this is somehow it figured out from this, it decided that when it picks up samples, it doesn't actually pick up two rank ones, it always picks up a 1 rank one. The other problem is it never seems to pick up a 3 rank sample, even if it can complete them. And we also never seem to accumulate expertise, which is also really weird. We never, like when we picked up 1s before, so we have an aggressive strategy, but we never accumulate expertise. But that's what I did before, and that got us fairly far. Like I said, that gets us to the middle of the Silver League. So now we just have to watch the ones. Well, we can probably just code in the stuff that's missing first of all, and see if that gets us any further. So the stuff that's missing, and the stuff that's missing is the science experiments. So let's add those in first. Or actually, we have expertise here as well that we don't predict. When we have a sample, first off, the sample has an expertise gain. Which molecule we gain. And this puts added score on things when we have expertise because, and this may be why I choose rank 2 ones. We'll have to balance this correctly. But let's get this one into the game first of all. Wherever we scan these things, we read these things in somewhere. Read turn. And we have the expertise gain right here. And we're just going to assume this is valid input, which so far has been the case. So, sample.expertise, we only gain 1 equals inputs i.trimstring.characters.first as you 8 minus a as you 8. This stuff is really, I admit, this is really weird. And oh, I might be able to just do this 0 first character. That might also work because somehow you can index into strings, but otherwise you can't. And the expertise is supposed to be what do I say these things? What do I usually call it? Ah, yes, correct. We could do this that simplifies that a little bit. I think. What about a bookmark there? We're going to get back to it. It's probably going to get mad at me. Well, it's already mad at me. That's correct. Okay, so we can't do that. Cars.first. Let's try this one. Maybe not first, nth 0. Oh, that unwrap. Alright, so that does that. So B8 looks like it works. And for anybody watching this, I can get rid of the parentheses, I guess. I will admit this is pretty verbose to take the first character of a string and convert it to a integer, but okay, we can deal with that. This also makes it, is this totally unsafe as well, because I call unwrap in the end. It's no safer than just doing 0, but I'm okay with that. But we need the expertise on that. We need to put the sample expertise. Expertise is probably a use size. I don't know, a U32 use size. I don't know what I called it. It's a comma. What's it down here? Use size from woohoo! Use size from. Now I'm sure that's causing convulsions in somebody from any other language looking. It's like, all I've done here is cast the first character of a string to a number. I don't know, there's got to be a simpler way, but let's move on from that. We got that. And what that means is that we have a few things. When we do apply connect laboratory, we have this expertise here. So us.expertise, not us, us.expertise, sample.expertise plus equals 1. We gain an expertise. So that fills in that to-do. We don't have a sample, samples index, yeah. And this lets us use it in scoring then. So now that we have this, we could actually use this in scoring. And I'm not sure how to value that scoring. I suppose anything that gets us towards the science projects. Now, where are these science projects? What were they again? Project count. The rounded amount of molecule expertise needed for each type. Okay, so project. Let's figure out how we do these projects. We're just going to see if we can do a project and go towards projects. Project. So all we have to do is collect the right amount. That seems simple enough. Which might mean it's better to stay towards rank 0 ones or rank 1 items until we've completed the science projects, because the rank 1 ones are the quickest way to fill them up. And that gets us a good boost. And so we have projects. Do I actually store them so far in the state? We have projects here. And what did I call a project? Project is just a list of expertise. So anything that improves our expertise, so samples that have the expertise we want, are really helpful. And how can we do that? We have the same basic thing. I don't know how we determine if we get that. Alright, I'm trying to think of where it's scoring. It has to be in the samples here. It's going to have to be in the score samples. If there's expertise values here, we got to find them. Well, let's just do score expertise, and let's do it that way. Even though it's technically part of score samples, we can do score projects, I guess, is the same. Yeah, let's do that. Let projects. Let's do another one. Self.score projects to keep it separated. Plus projects and fn score projects. Now, what's interesting to note about most of these equations here is, you notice they all have multipliers. They're all just some value, generally some value multiplied by another one, multiplied by another one, multiply, multiply. We have some input I determine, so I pick some inputs and I just multiply them and then add them all together and then add them all together again, and this goes in layers. This is essentially a neural network. What this means is that this algorithm would be good to train. If we really wanted to get right to the top of Legendary League, we would download their driver and start training ourselves if we had other code, if we had other bots, and we could actually determine the optimal values of these things, what the values are, and we could train it a lot. But without access to other bots, it's actually a bit hard to decide what we train it against. Plus, that's a lot of work to actually get the driver running, doing the training and stuff, and we'd actually have to rewrite all of this to be the form of a neural network using neurons instead of these if statements. And there are a few weird points here. This one right here, some of these ones, like this bad count, these can be represented as neurons, but you're going to have to hand pick some of the activation functions. So this is more like a linear trigger, it's going to be like an all or nothing sort of trigger. The same with this could fulfill. The actual scores we can put different values in, But the actual scores you could leave as a bias, but the actual trigger would be more like an all or nothing hard activation function, and those exist in neural networks too. And you can hand code all this. Hand coding them is kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It didn't really figure out anything on its own. It figured out the weights, and figuring out the weights is important. And right now, as we learned from yesterday, figuring out the weights on our own is a real pain. It's really hard to get this right. Okay, so score projects. How do I want to do that? So we have a list of projects, and we're going to say sum of this. We're going to attempt to do a sum operation. We're going to take self.projects.editor.map and project. And we're going to sum this to a F64, the individual values. So whatever it is, we're going to sum it up there, right? And we have an arrow already, which is weird. That's fine, because I don't have anything inside of there. I have to do a return. This would probably satisfy it. Or not. Cannot move out of what? Uh-oh. Turbofish. Why is it called a turbofish? Is there like some emoticon I'm not seeing here? Aha! No, I see a fish now. Put a fish. Make it more fishy with an I. Or maybe an 8. There's a fishy. Okay, so enough with the turbofish. Such a strange name. I want a fish there now. Why can't I borrow this here? Projects editor map. Cannot move out of borrowed content. Is it? In memoriam, is this link safe to click? Let's live dangerously. I trust you. I trust your good characters. Excellent. We had some turbofish. What? It's... See, Avarice is keeping us on track, you know. Focus. Okay, but I want to play with this fish. What's random? A bool. No, that's no fun. I like the big... There we... Oh, wait, I went past it. That was the 64. That was the one we had. Come on, back to 64. We're never going to get back there, That one looks fun, too. There we go. There's our turbofish, the F64. That's exactly what we needed here. We have a turbofish F64, so we haven't animated. And that's good enough. So we've watched the turbofish. Let's them go away. And so now we have to score the project, and we're going to have a project completeness. They're worth 50 points, so project.completeness, or maybe this should be for player. Aha, map already gets a reference. Got it. And that's a pattern matching then, which mentions, so I think I'm slowly understanding these bits and pieces. Self.player0.project completeness. And no, project is a reference. This is where it gets really weird because I don't put an and because it already is a reference. I don't need it here again. Times project dot, no, just times 50. This is how much points. We're just going to make it worth the 50 points. Because these are worth 50 points if they get it, so anything close to the project gets us more points, which is very valuable. And up here we score the projects, the score, given the same score initially as the actual score, because that's how much it should be treated as. So expertise is worth a lot. We get rid of this. So now we need project completeness up here in the player module. fn project completeness, and self project is an end project. This is going to give us an F64, and we're going to try and do this in the functional way as well. How can we do this whole thing? Can we, though? Can we actually do that? I'm going to do a sum. Actually, I don't know how to do it. We're going to do the loop, and then we'll figure out, if someone can figure out how we do that in the sum. Let mut total equals 0, I32, let mut have equals 0, I32, for I and 0 dot dot the molecules. Now, there's a way to do this. I always keep forgetting. There's a way we actually, Clippy told us how to do this without that. I don't remember where we did that, though. There's an iterator it gave us how to do that iteration without, there it is. We don't know if this is any better or not, but it recommended it. So I, comma expertise in self.expertise.iter.enumerate.take non-molecule types. I probably don't even need this, though. Do I need the type take? Because it's a limited length iterator, it has a fixed length, so I'm going to try it without first of all. If x is greater than project.expertise. Okay, thanks for confirming that, Avers. Yeah, because it has a fixed length, so I probably don't need that. Okay, so the total must be this. Total plus equals project.expertise I. And then have equals project.expertise I minimum x. All right. And now, we're going to assume the total is never 0. And so now we'll say F64 from have divided by F64 from total. And this gives us the completeness of any project. So anytime it gets close to the project completeness, mismatch type, of course, right here, min x, x. What type do we have? What did I say project expertise is? Where is project? It's an I32. No, I'll pattern match it instead. That's the more rusty way, right? I still haven't figured out the places where you automatically get a reference. So enumerate gives references, and so I guess that's the correct way. I'm still not used to the pattern matching yet because it's symmetrical with the passing. So and doesn't always mean take an address, can also mean the address. Yeah, we'll get there. So we're scoring projects now. That gives a score for the projects. And I'm going to emit that here. So we're going to say S. I'm going to say project. It's just that the where. And what else do they have? SC sample. I want projects here. Sample. This is where. And then we have where we are. Is there an advantage to using into iter or iter? Why would I choose one or the other? Into is going to do a copy and give ownership, isn't it? Isn't that what into does? It creates a copy and or gives ownership. It creates an ownerable type. So I should probably use iter where possible. Is that about correct? Let's see how this scores in any case. Let's go back to... Aha, okay. Let's do an auto. Can I get back to the normal player? I want to get back to the tough guy. Let's delete him. We can play against ourselves. Wonderful. Let's add Doctor Who. Let's go compete directly against the tough guy and see how we do. Now, it's very hard to judge how you do in one case because of the randomness, but if we do something stupid, I just want to see if we score any science project. Oh no, I did something wrong. I tracked with an overflow at line 367. Whoops. Well, what do you know? Do samples always have expertise? It's not a number. It's a letter. It's a letter from A to F. And we'll just print out what it is. That's where the complexity comes. Inputs 3. Exp. I'm worried that maybe one of them's empty. Replay in same conditions. Let's kick this off to manual mode first of all. What do you mean 0? How can it be 0? What the hell? Is it lying to us about the inputs? Gain. Expertise molecule gained when researching a sample. A, B, C, D, or E, and we get a... No. Sample ID. Then carried by. We have carried by. So 0, 1, 2, 3. It's definitely the third field. 0? What do you mean 0? That's unexpected. Alright, then we'll do it this way. Inputs 3. Let x equal inputs 3 that string. Well, let's try this. Let's try fun. Let's try it this way, because we're going to learn Rust anyways. Match. And it's going to match to a 0. I hope I can do string comparisons. Then I'm going to say none. Otherwise, it's going to be a string, and it's going to do this. Use size from stir.chars. We're going to try and get this syntax working. Sample expertise is going to have to be a optional. Where I screw it up. Come on. It's an option. This is fine. This has to be a sum. Okay. And this is if let some expertise equals us.samples index dot expertise, us.expertise plus equals 1. Well, mismatch type somewhere. Oh no, not this again. How do I pattern match a string? Rust pattern match string. There's got to be some way to do it. Remove the toString. Okay. Seems to work. So what is it then? It's not a string? Yes. Okay, I'm going to change that as well. And say Easter, just for clarity there as well. But that didn't appear to be the problem. It seems to have no problem with that. So let's replay this and let's see what it is, if it's an optional type or we get some other thing. Is it working? It's working. We're this guy down here. And we may prefer expertise, but the issue is that we're not collecting anything particularly for the expertise. So it's just changing the order we apply samples, but we're not actually going to get samples in any particular order. But I have no idea if we actually got the... we're definitely falling behind. We're going to get nothing out of this. So we fell behind there. So Doctor Who science project. Let's see if we can look who got the science projects here. Because if we didn't get any of them, then it was pointless. Science project. He's the only one who scored a science project. Now what I'm really unsure about is we can't collect expertise of a particular type unless they threw stuff into the cloud. That's a bit weird. The only thing I can think of is just prefer rank 0 ones until we actually have the science projects fulfilled. So where did it score samples? I mean, this is going to be a really stupid thing here, basically. And these ifs make it hard to convert this to a neural network. They can still be done, but it makes it harder. If self.projects is empty, well, not empty, and sample.rank is greater than 1, then we'll just dump it as well. We don't want this. We have a negative score. Let's see if this makes a difference. It's a pretty hard-coded thing to try and get us to fulfill science projects. And what's going to happen is we're going to end up filling a whole bunch of rank 1 ones just attempting to get a science project. But he won by so much that might not be helpful. But it definitely gets us to fill. We only take 2, and this is something I still haven't figured out why we'll never take 2 of them. And then we take 3 the next time. It's really weird. And then we took a rank. So there's no science projects left? That's weird. That would be like the only reason he would take... Oh, that's Doctor Who. We're red. Sorry, never mind. We're just going for science projects? And we better hope we get them, because otherwise we've failed horribly. It doesn't look like we're ever going to get a science project. We better print out what those are. Oh, I think we just got a science project. But they're not worth enough. They don't appear to actually be worth enough. Project. We completed a project and gained 50 points. Good. We completed a project and gained 50 points. We completed a project and gained 50 points. So we actually completed all the projects, but it took forever to do it. So they're not actually worth that much. Well, let's see how we do with the strategy. Let's submit and see what happens to our position if we go for this. What happens if we get science projects? It may be something we only say, look, science projects are only worth something if it doesn't take too many turns to get them. When you have to bounce, and this is some value you could actually put into the neural network because you have a control there whether it's there or not. And where are we? It started us quite far down. So this is looking to be a terrible strategy. Terrible, terrible, terrible. How would these science projects be worth any points? Because, yeah, so whatever we've done, I don't imagine we're going to be doing very well at all. Science projects are going to be primarily incidental. We can leave the scoring in for them. It's obviously worth more to try and get them, but there's like nothing in the cloud to download. This is just horrible. This is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. So what do we change? Yeah, I just don't see how... Okay, we need to debug them first. Let's just comment this out first of all. And after we read the turn, we don't want to debug the state, we want to... Where are the projects? Projects. Wait a second. The projects are never cleared. That's interesting. So even after they're cleared, we're going to keep filling them. But that shouldn't make a big difference, because if he clears them... I'm suspicious of this. So we're going to keep going for projects even after they've been fulfilled. This would mean this is the first time we'd actually have to check the opponent to see has he fulfilled the project as well. And that's kind of yucky. This is getting... I'm worried about speed at some point here. But it's doing so poorly anyways that I can't imagine it actually being worthwhile. Let's actually check it on the turn. When we do a load turn, read players, we're going to clean up projects here. Self.cleanup projects. I don't think this will make a big difference, but at least we get rid of them. And we're going to debug the projects right here. Just so I can see how much is in them. Project, just do question dot. And what function did I call? We have Alright, this is going to be a bit weird. I'm going to figure out let done equals self.projects dot filter project self.player0.project completeness projects greater than or equal to 1 or self.players1.project. So the components complete them as well. Completeness project greater than or equal to 1. So if they're complete, it's filtered. Those are the ones that are done. And now for D in done.iter. Wait, I wanted the index. How can I do this? How can I do this filtered? So I do a dot map. No dot no dot enumerate. And this is going to be a index project coming through. We're going to map this to index comma project to just be index. This is weirdness. I know it's weirdness. Excuse the weirdness. And then done.d and done.iter. This probably doesn't need to be an iter because it's already being mapped. No, we need to do it in reverse order. Okay. Now wait, Rust is getting. How do I do this in reverse order? Because this will collect them in order. We want to do it in reverse order now. Yeah, done.rev self.projects.remove D. Wow, this is like really questionable. Projects iter.enumerate. Alright, this takes an index in a project. And non-reference pattern used to match a reference pattern. Ooh, that's going to be tricky here. going to have to look up that one, what it means. What on earth does that mean? So our first guess. Alright, let's check the cargo outputs. Or yeah. So this is a pattern. We want that. This may be, this is probably a reference as well. We want to, I don't know actually anymore. Let's check cargo. Let's see if cargo can suggest something to us. Cargo check. Expected F64. Fine, maybe that's what it was complaining about. Expected tuple found reference. Why does this one expect what? Dot collect vec Where is it complaining about? Cargo? I thought collect could... Well, if that would work, it wouldn't make a big difference. We could reverse it here. Ah, that's right. Well, it appeared to work. This is overly complex. For D in, how do we do a download loop? Rust descending range. Descend. Decrease. Why am I I'm collecting because otherwise it's borrowing down here. Because this up here, it can't touch projects because it's still being borrowed up here. So the collecting breaks the borrowing. All right, I can show that again. I can show you what happens if we don't collect. So if we take the collect off, you have this borrowing problem. And so collecting removes the borrowing. But this is overly complex. But does anybody know how to do a downward loop? I want to do for self.projects.len ... This is not Rust. Rust descending range. Yes, I meant. All right. Thank you. Why is it indenting it? So this code is actually much clearer than this one, and I'm willing to bet it's actually more efficient. Assume we don't have a problem. My lens a problem, obviously. It's hard to say which one's more efficient. That a profiler, but yeah, and from cleanliness here, I actually prefer the second one, because it's not that I don't mind filtering and stuff. It's just that we have all this additional mapping and stuff that's not so pleasant. And where did dprint line say we should actually clean up these projects? Clean up project. And let's see if that actually works. We really just want to see that we clean them, so we don't keep evaluating. I still think it's kind of pointless to actually go after the projects because they're not worth much. But we're going to find out. And it looks like we crashed because I forgot that it was compiling and then I put something broken on. Let's go to the end. We don't need to see. So that got us more points this time. So we definitely cleaned it up. Clean up. What did I call it? Or maybe not. Project. And Doctor Who completed it. Why did it do a different one? Alright, so these expertise are very high. For 400 turns, these are very high to get to these. I don't know if they're worth it, at least not in ours currently right now. But what I'm worried about is why didn't we clean them up? Because did we take out the code that actually goes after them? Projects. Score projects I want. Yeah, we took out this code, so we're not going to finish them. So I just want to see if it cleans up. Let's put that back in. Let's let it clean up. I want to see it clean up. It should have cleaned up there as well because it looked at his code. Oh, they're indicators, okay. Right there, you mean? Where's our cleanup, though? I'm concerned that we don't clean up. Self.cleanup projects. We have all these expertise. Why are we not cleaning up? We should have cleaned up here. Self.player 0 project completeness. The project completeness must work because otherwise we wouldn't actually value it, and we're definitely valuing it. Now, why on earth is it actually not cleaning up? I like to at least fix this first. Just why? Well, let's break it out this way. When in doubt, break it into steps, which isn't always safe to do in Rust, but in this case it is. Just boring if she knows. Let's take these off. The print line clean. Always the exclamation. So near the end, there should be a clean, and if we go like, it's kind of annoying I have to scroll up every time. I think that's an error in the thing. Clean. I scored a clean. It only says 0.33. It's definitely cleaned up. Well, that's weird. Okay, so project clean isn't actually working. Project completeness. Total is project expertise I, is project at expertise I dot min experience. Have what? Why is that not working? Gee, we really need to find a way to put unit tests in these things, so I could actually test these functions on their own, but I don't know how to do that yet. So we have all the expertise, and if we look back at the beginning, it's going to be like this, huh? So it's 3, 3, 3, 3, and 4, 4, and we have all of those, except that one. We have the 4, 4 one. So why are we down to 33% only? What can be going wrong in our loop? What can be going wrong in this loop here? Project completeness. We give it a project. Expertise.iter. Expertise I. Oh crap. Very obvious mistake. Plus equals. Alright. How does that... Okay. I'd have to create all these things then. That might make sense. I'm going to keep that in mind. I'm going to write this down. So much for my cheat sheet. And we're going to have to learn a bit about crates. At the latest next week in the competition, since the competition can be a bit more work, I'm going to set up all the testing and stuff. So the competition, we're going to try and split this through crates and use the function that combines them into one crate for the testing. And then it'll actually expose us to more of Rust, because right now we're stuck in one file. But that should give us more exposure, and we'll definitely do that then. I wrote down test. I don't know why I didn't put it in my cheat sheet. So let's just go to here. Clean up project, clean up project. So we completed them. Good. Does it help any? No. Not really. Okay, but we have it there. So to hell with it. Clean up projects. Hello, Diazinci. If you were watching us last night, the progress since then is I'm actually in the Silver League. So ignore this rank. That's because we did something stupid. We're actually at rank 64 in the Silver League. And we're trying to work on scoring now to get us further. What put us down to 64 was a stupid idea with projects. And that we score projects highly. Scoring projects is okay, but what we did is this here. And doesn't seem to be any value in scoring the project. Doesn't seem to be any value in this. Too long to fill a project. We still score the project, so projects are valued heavily. So if we have samples that have expertise in them, filling it is preferred over something else. But it doesn't. Maybe it's because. Maybe it's because down here would be helpful. Oh wow, that's. Oh no, it has to be with the samples. Oh, that's going to be weird. Oh man, this doesn't actually score it. This scores expertise as a whole. Sinclair. Okay, Sinclair. I'll try to remember that. Sinclair. That's the idea going for gold. They're trying to figure out how to go for gold. Projects doesn't appear to be the way. But I'm not valuing them correctly. I'm scoring projects highly, but I realize this is kind of stupid right now because it doesn't value the samples in the project. It's just valuing the projects themselves, whereas actually what we should be scoring is if a sample has an expertise that we want, it should fill it. But this is also really stupid, and I highly doubt the projects really help any, or I'm not seeing how, because we don't really have a way we can select between projects. At that level, we just randomly grab them, and it's so slow to switch and grab other ones that it makes very little difference. So what else can we score? Let's ignore the projects for now. There must be more to-dos in here. To-do. No, not that to-do. That one we don't really need. To-do, don't need. That's a rust one. Expertise gain we have. Coin. Yeah. Yeah, that definitely sounds a good option. Do you think we can get to gold without ignoring the enemy? Do I actually have to consider the enemy to make it to gold? I wanted to know how far I could get before I can acknowledge the enemy, or if I just like mess with them immediately. We could work on this ETA. Let's put a bookmark here. I don't know if it makes a big difference because we generally seem to do a logical thing anyways, except a few times. And we have these stats here, but I don't think that's a big issue. We just guess the basic health of the values. So this table basically here says when we connect to the diagnosis machine, what health are these things going to get. For rank 1 will be 5, 225, and these are basically the averages. It's not quite the average, but it's good enough. It's actually slightly less than that. And these ranks are also quite a little bit off, but this only lasts one turn, so I don't think it makes a big difference. Okay, so should we actually block molecules, or should we figure out something else we could do? Well, let's do the ETA stuff first. Okay, go to. How do we put this thing in a table? Let's just do it this way. ETA from self.players 0.target to turn.destination. We'll see if this makes any difference. I'm going to have to make an ETA function. Function ETA from module to module. Now this is where we're going to have to figure out some rustiness. This is the table we have. I don't know what happens if I copy and paste this. Oh, I hate that. Stop that. These don't have integer values or anything. Does anybody know if we can give integer values to the modules? Enums. Rust, give enum integer values. Is there no way to do this? I have to write code to do it. Let's upvote this stuff. Although well, this question indicates the moment you do that it breaks. So you can do this. Oh, it didn't seem to break. How do I get that number from it? How do I get the number from the enum? Let's figure something out. I32 from? Well, let's hope that works as Fn equals that Tn equals 2 as I32. Then, these are 5 and 4 and 4. Alright, well, their chart's kind of annoying in that it's missing a column. Why would they do that to us? This chart should be 5 by 5. They're just assuming you never go to the starting area. 2. You know what? We can ignore all of this because there's some special rules here. We're going to use the special rules because I realize there's a pattern to the start, and we'll worry about this when we actually have to get it. I just call this FR because that's name. You notice the start position is just always 2. And module molecules is just always 3. It's a bit weird. And samples is also 3. So samples and modules, from samples and modules to anywhere is 3. And then we only have the special one, module laboratory. And laboratory is 3, except if it's going to diagnosis. Then it's 4 I32 else it's 3i32. Let's stick that up here. Now this is a pretty awful way to do it, and we're also going to do this. If fr equals 2, then we return 0. Last one we have is module diagnosis. And diagnosis is 3 unless we're going to the laboratory. In which case it's 4. It's not the way I'd prefer to do this, but before I mess with those other things. And that gives us our ETA. Good. So it says rand is not used, so let's just comment this out. Let's try and get this perfect here. Min expertise is not used, let's just comment that out as well. Okay, good. I don't know if this will help anything, because I don't even know if I use the ETA value anymore. I do. I tend to value it. This might help the movement slightly. It'll choose things that are slightly closer by. Then you go further away. Let's watch the exact same replay and see if it helps any. I threw one away. That's very strange. See, the problem I have now is I never grab red ones. Oh, I do grab red ones. Interesting. So we're actually doing better now. I don't know how. We won. I'm really shocked. I'm surprised we did better. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't know how we did better there, to be honest. Let's submit that. I can't imagine ETA has that much of an impact. But I did notice before we made some really stupid moves in the laboratory to diagnosis. Maybe that ETA made just a slight enough difference to give us a couple moves, because these games are really tight in the moves. And let's see what we did in this one wrong. This one we did wrong. What are we doing wrong? So how does he suddenly come around and get a whole bunch of points? Because he immediately starts taking red ones. Oh, he starts taking red ones earlier than we do. Oh, when we go into this pattern, shit, I've had this before. And we really have to fix this pattern. My guy gets stuck and doesn't know what to do then. And that's how we lose that one, because we sometimes get stuck. Okay, which one was that? I hate how it jumps to the next one. Now I have to go figure out which one that was again. Anybody remember the name of that one? So this was, I had code here that tried to abbreviate that. Is that basically we get stuck in a position where there's not enough molecules for us, and so we throw them away. And what we're really not doing now is I don't think we're considering the molecules actually in the game. We only consider molecules we have, and let's check this one. Just send this first. Ah, no. Ah, damn it. We lost. Let's figure out why we lose this one, and then... Okay, why are we doing this one? Wow, he grabs expensive ones right away. Oh, and we're stuck. So this is our killer moment right here. We have to figure out how to get out of that sticking pattern. And we have to be able to ditch one. I mean, we recovered here, but that's too many wasted turns. It's because it's not convinced we can complete it. That's what these values are right here, just saying how much we have completed, 80%, 75, 42. And true is saying we could actually complete this. Unless the molecules aren't there, it may not consider that. Maybe we should start considering the molecules that are actually on the board. And are we actually going up in the score, or are we sitting basically fit? Evening rust. So we are going up. We might go. We're not going up very fast though. All right. So that's the next one we have to do. Is let's figure out where the can complete is. Can fulfill actually. Can fulfill, can fulfill, can fulfill. This max molecule count, here's where it gets really questionable. And the scoring gets really difficult because if the opponent has the molecules, we can't get them. But if they're about to score them, they might come back. But I'd be predicting it. So let's change this to be only thinking about what they actually have, and that means taking the other player's molecules away from this. How do I do that? How do I do that easily? I'm worried about the amount of code we have, but we're going to start going slow. So can fulfill is going to need the state, or it's going to need the other player's molecules. Let's give it this. Sample can fulfill self.players1.store. Let's give it a reference to its store. And this is going to be lost or not available. I'd say not available. Not available. And what is this thing? This is a... How do we do this again? This is an I-32 5. I think. It'll tell us what the error is. Okay, so that's not it. Is it a reference to an I-32 5? It is. Okay. So it's not max molecule count anymore. Now it's max molecule count minus edA-qa. So if they're not available, we can't take them. And that should hopefully kill that loop. We might still be moving up, but let's see if we can actually replay this one. We're just trying to see if we avoid the loop right now. That little back and forth jiggy there. He goes right for the second ones and tosses them out. Why did we not throw one away there? What on earth did we go to the laboratory for and not have one? What? No! So we have an error. We went to the laboratory and didn't do anything. That's really stupid. Whoa, something's wacky there. We leave the laboratory sometimes, but somehow we beat him. Interesting. There's something weird in my scoring. That shouldn't have made a difference. And you know, it has to do with the randomness. That his randomness may not be doing it correctly. Okay, we're up to 68. Let's check where we are in the leaderboard. Are we still going up? Oh, we're going down, so we might not get a better score than before. Bad sign. Yeah, we went down. I'm interested in one thing, though. Submit the new... Right, yeah, the new one will kill the loops. We'll see what happens there. We'll see where it gets to. It's really so slow to get up there to watch these things go. And what I'm interested in is figuring out now, we saw in this one here, we did something really, really bad. We went over here with a sample we could fill, and we didn't give it away. Right there, right there. There's where it was. So we have a sample true, and my scoring didn't give it up. So we just wasted time right there. Go to connect. And why on earth did connect give us minus 1,000? Oh crap, I know why it gave us a minus 1,000. This is bad. And I'm having trouble with this part of the scoring. So what happens is when we give it up, and this is the problem with the turn, we're not evaluating the scoring, we're evaluating the state, is that minus 1,000 it's coming right here. And this is that trigger condition right now. And we have to fix this. This has to be... So this 1,000 is basically... The reason why it's triggering this is because we don't have enough molecules for all the samples, but we have one that's filled, so it's still okay. It's down here, it's still happy, whatever. And it goes and it gives that one away. And that means we're left with the one we can't fill, and it triggers this condition and says 1,000 minus 1,000, and so it goes, whoa, I can't give up that sample. And it's like, oh, that's like the stupidest thing in the world because we obviously want to give it up. There's no reason we shouldn't give it up. And so I think this one here, I'm going to switch it back to 3. If the bad count is 3, that is if we're stuck with only bad ones. That's the only time it's a really bad state. We'll leave that follow to that one right there. And let's see if we actually do that. If we do any better, we won it before. But again, his robot has randomness, and this is what's weird. There's randomness involved here, so we can't be guaranteed it's going to be the same every time. He made a mistake. Interesting. So he has a lot of randomness in his code, which is kind of unfortunate. So we don't really know if we're doing better than him or not. How did it make a mistake, though? Unless he's taking chances. We're fairly consistent. And it made the exact same mistake. Alright, well, how are we doing in our battles now? Let's find when we're losing. This one here. Let's take this to the game and let's see. So that's a bit weird. So edA-qa here, it did something wrong and this code's going to keep breaking on him. That's fine. Or at least our code doesn't break now. Let's figure out why we fail. So he took all low sample ones, and we didn't take a third. Oh, we threw away a sample. And he just waits there. How did this robot get this far? And how did we lose to this? We're still taking that last one, which is a... Alright, so... I'm not satisfied that we did something horribly wrong in this one. It looked like we had an even run here. The only thing we did wrong is we weren't aggressive enough. We didn't grab something higher, but I'd rather look for another one where we're making an obvious mistake instead. We just did that one. This one here we lost twice to. Maybe we should look for the ones where we pattern we lose twice to. There's no like magic formula here to get this thing. That's unfortunate. We don't have, unless we're still missing rules. I don't think we are. I think we've covered all the rules. At some point we start falling behind, even though we have this incredible lead. Now, we never go to diagnosis and grab one. Notice he's going to diagnosis to grab a sample because it's safer. But wait, we won! Oh man, debugging randomness sucks. Or is that because we didn't actually submit the new code? Let's submit this. Maybe we didn't. Maybe we had that slight variation. We did a slight change to the code. But this makes it incredibly hard. When we're at this point, we're not making obvious mistakes. And it looks like obvious mistakes down there. I don't think we're going to make it to gold. No, no, no. Can we make it to gold? What else are we doing wrong? Now, we don't take enough risks on this picking up samples. We tend to always take that one low one. But that also gains us expertise. But we prefer to actually go for it. Now, we never check the cloud either. And we haven't really included that score yet, that the cloud samples are often worth more than these, because even though, what's that cost ratio? Let's check the cost ratio again. So from the laboratory to the samples is 3 moves, and to diagnosis is 4. But if there's already a sample in the diagnosis machine, if you go to the laboratory to diagnosis and get a sample, that's 5 moves. Whereas if you go to the samples machine, grab an unidentified one, then go to diagnosis, which is another 3, and then diagnosis, that's 8. That's twice as long. So picking up samples from diagnosis speeds you up a lot. How can I encode this in a generic way? We want a generic way to encode that type of information. And we won again here. This is kind of annoying. If you go over to battles, every time we pick one, we win if we run it in the replay. We lost against that guy twice. Come on, this guy here. Let's see how we lost here. But I think that's what we have to encode somehow. Somehow the where, the go-to has to be valued differently. And a lot differently. Oh, we do this again. Well, that's obviously the problem there. Why are we doing that again? Oh, look at this stalemate. Oh, this is priceless. He's waiting and we're walking like an idiot. Oh, this would be a great Olympic challenge, huh? This would be pretty embarrassing to watch this. The future of AI, I mean, right here. What is our bot doing? What do we have? 4A, 2B, which we'll never get. No, actually, wait a second. Oh, because we have too many molecules. This is another interesting one we haven't considered. This one we haven't considered because I could in theory complete it, but I don't have enough molecule space left. Right, there is a B here, but I can't pick it up because I'm stuck with all these other molecules. So there must be something wrong in my scoring of that because he's not giving it up. So right here, why is he not giving it up? Connect. And I think I know why it is. Because my where value here right. Okay, the where value is that it's just seeing there's something available, but it's not considering the fact that I can't pick it up. As to why it's giving such a huge value, I do not know. Where is 1? Where is 2? Well, I think that's just the ETA value. So what we need to do here is, what's our total sample score? If us.store.iter.sum I32 Now we should actually check to see if we could actually complete them. This is actually really weird. Let's just kill this loop first, but this is actually going to be a different loop. This is going to be like return 0. We can't complete it. And this is doing a patchwork fix, and this newest robot of ours is not doing so well. Alright, so we're probably not going to have the loop this time. Come on, bot, start. Did I submit something wrong? There's an error, yeah. Okay, I made an error. Mismatched types. Store iter sum. Equals max. Max store. I think that's max store, yeah. So he got stuck already. So we're already doing better, but it might be randomness, but no, it's supposed to be the same sample. But no, we're doing a lot better than him now. Though I think we should probably start picking up red ones. That's the thing, is we should start picking up red ones. We wait too long, I think, but we'll do fine against him. We did pick up red ones. Okay, so we won that by a lot, whether it helps us or not. These runs are taking so long, though, we don't really know how we're doing. Right, this is a big challenge. We don't know how we're doing, is that we are going up. Let's find another battle first that we lost and see why we lost it. Again, we want a pattern of 2 because I think it sets it up with 2 of them. This guy was hard because there was randomness. Where else did we lose against 2 in a row? This guy, but we already know. Okay, let's try this guy. Just send these over to the IDE and see why we lost this one. But so far we've not done better than what we just started the game with today. And this is what's really frustrating with these scoring things. We just haven't done any better. Where are we at now? I'm trying to watch what he's doing. He's getting more points than me, and I'm not quite sure how. Well, doing that didn't help. I don't know what we're doing. So whatever we're doing there, we totally failed. So we got some busted loop there. We stopped scoring points. Okay, we stopped scoring points there. Now the one thing we don't do is we don't look 2 moves into the future. We only look 1 move into the future. And the reason this might be important is because if we go to like the samples thing, looking 1 move in the future doesn't let you exchange a sample. There's just no way to exchange a sample. It just doesn't consider that. So that might be enough to do it, but what have we done first of all? We figured out one thing, but are we actually going up? Are we still losing here? No, we're going down. So whatever we did last time, it got worse. So where do we start walking around like the retard? Right there. Actually, a bit before that. Right here. What do we have? 3A. We have 3A. And we have 2E. And we can't fulfill it. Because we have no space left again. Because we have 10 and we can't fulfill it. Then why don't we toss one out? Why is tossing one out not considered an option? Why is it not working? Go to. The score samples are going to be the death of me. It probably has to do with this right here. If we can't fulfill it, maybe it should just be worth nothing. What happens if I make this worth nothing instead? Well, that's no good. We start behaving stupidly there now. Oops, I didn't mean to press submit. Oh, damn it. Oh well. What's that one? Trying to think, watch what he's doing. Why is he doing better than me? Well, because we screw up again. We're just unwilling to get rid of that one when we can't shake them off. And we fall behind, and that cost us too much. Why don't we shake that off? Let's go back to that point. right around here, 5b and 3c, and we can't possibly get that. 3a and 5e. And these things have to be toxic, but why do we not get rid of them then? Why are we not getting rid of them in this case? Because we can't fulfill them. They should basically be toxic. That's what the scoring does. That's what this minus score here is basically. If you can't fulfill this thing, it's worthless. Make it a negative score. And in this case, we can't fulfill either of them. And so we're here at the laboratory. No, we're at the... And somehow we lose points if we give them away. Go to samples, wait. Because you can see they're just not fillable. So we're supposed to be in a toxic state. But somehow going to places, that's what this value here is. Go to is giving us more score. We went to the laboratory, gave us more score, went to samples, gave us more score, went to... Then it did giving up this diagnosis. This connect basically means we're giving it up. We should actually clarify that to be clear. And... Or we pick up a new one, and that one was really toxic, because then we're told to be full. Does it matter what I put this value to? It's not using this value, it's somehow just not getting rid of it. Where else is the score coming from? Sample, WH. Well, what is the WH score coming out to in those other ones? 1. The WH scores are really low. Like the where score is really low. And the score is going to be the same in all of them. 330, 330, 330, 330, because it's the same score. We haven't got any score. And the project score is the same in all of them, which leaves the sample score, 168, 68, 65. So something's wrong with the sample score, that this is not working. It's because it could fulfill. Because that means we could actually fulfill it. But we should put this back to can fulfill. Man, it's really tricky here. So the difference between could and can is could basically said, look, if all the molecules are there, could we do it? But that's how we get stuck in this loop, because there's no way we would ever free it up. So our rank is still going up on the other one. Man, this is getting hard to go along. This is very hard. And we stuck all on 0 ones. That's changing that loop, sticks us all on 0. And that's why we do the ranking thing. Now I know why we did that way. So otherwise we never pull up rank ones. We might just want to hard code, and it's very hard to hard code things in this ranking system. We suddenly picked up really costly ones. But we stuck there. Now we're kind of pissy and getting stuck again. And that's why I had this bad count up there before, is that these are actually okay, except if the bad count is greater than 0 and bad count equals self.player 0.sampleslen. But that was getting us stuck somewhere else. Why was it getting stuck somewhere else? So we're at 64 in the whatever we submitted. If we break into 50, I'd be happy. Oh, we went down to 68. And he's picking up red ones already, taking his chances. And we just don't, which is a problem. Of course, we won that time, because he made a mistake, though. Let's find another one that we lost against before. And I just wonder if maybe not flip-flopping on this. We lost against this guy twice. And I have to call it a night soon. This is a bit... Alright, what happens in this one? And we don't submit again. What are we doing over there if we don't submit? Shit, that's because of the same broken value. Because we're left with one that can't be fulfilled. So we're kind of flip-flopping on that. I know the reason. So now I know the reason why we did that again. Because that would mean giving up one for score is not worth enough. But we can reduce this value here to be minus 100. Or minus 10, because this times 20 here should offset that. Because even if we give up one score value, that would offset that minus 10, which would still mean giving up the values better, even if we're stuck with something we can't fulfill. We just threw away 3 of them there. That was really weird. This is really close now. but he's picking up red ones. Wow, that one was close though. Wow, ouch. So we're definitely doing better against him. Our rank up to 71. How many battles do we have left? Very few. But I like the fact I can't see we're doing, obviously, except for the fact we pick up cheaper samples. And let's try this one here. So we're stuck right at that. Like there's like these little ladders in there, and we're stuck at this level. And the last one we're stuck right in the middle. And then the moment I broke the middle, we went up all the way up to 20, and then stuck there, and then we went right into this point here. So we got the little red eyes. Now this is an adjusted algorithm. He beat me, but we have an adjusted algorithm now. And it looks, unless we break or something now, I don't see how we lose against him this time. But we never pick up red ones, and at this point we should be picking up a red sample as well. Oh, we do pick up red ones. Just wait a bit. Maybe I'm too conservative to when we pick up the red ones somehow. But no, we beat him well that time. So let's submit again and see how we lose. We'll do this one more time and then I'll call it a night. Just going to check my phone for a message to see if I can come tomorrow. So you just hard-coded that in Koyan? I'm trying to be clever. I'm trying to like figure out what would make sense. And I kind of have that based in there, but I'm kind of wondering if maybe that's not the best way. And you're doing quite well, so if that's the logic you're going with, we could probably use the same logic, and we could probably figure out what that's doing. Now, in this scoring approach, it gets difficult to hard code these things, but we can do it. And let's just try that one there. Let's find one we lost against and see if we would win against him for that. So this guy we lost against twice. But that's that would actually work in a neural network as well, because those values could actually be the 12 and then the 18. We can simply pick what makes sense. Because what I was hoping I was trying to get with my scoring is that I was hoping that I'd find a way that he'd pick up like 2 of those and 1 for backup, and maybe he'd start picking up 1 red one and then 2, and yeah. But maybe I can do that. Maybe I can improve on that, because you said until 12. I can do a ranking thing to have a tweakable value and take the sum of the ranks. And this randomness in the game is making it extremely hard to debug. So we lost against him twice, and then we just completely beat him there, even though we copied the exact parameters. And we have no randomness in our algorithm. None. Which means the other guy's algorithm must have randomness. And Koyan, do you have randomness in your algorithm? Or are you fully deterministic? If you can answer that, it'd be really nice to know if you guys, anybody has randomness, because I took mine out, but it appears these other people have randomness in them. Did I? So you're fully deterministic, okay. Oh. Hey, Nikes, you're right, I picked the wrong one. We're actually doing better this time. Oh, here's one where I lost twice against the same guy. Okay, but yeah, the ranking the way I rank now is clearly broken, and I'm gonna have to fix something there. Did that guy run right to the molecules and pick some up? Wow, that's mean. That was a weird strategy. Did you guys catch that right at the start? Look at the first thing he does is pick up molecules, 1 of each one. What the hell? Does it help him any? Oh, I lost because I get stuck. Damn it. Stuck. Why don't I diagnose? Damn it. Diagnose. I don't think his 1-1 helps him any. I want to figure out why I don't diagnose. And this is where the scoring approach gets so hard, is that I know for a fact that having a diagnosed sample is worth more than having an undiagnosed sample. Yet something in my code is making it not the case. And that's because the diagnosed one, I'm willing to bet, puts me to a point that I can't fulfill anything. So which one is undiagnosed? Let's take a check again. Come on. Six. So 6 is undiagnosed. So let's check what happens when what do I do at 6 here? I do diagnose ID 6. Gives me a lower score. And because diagnosing it probably puts me in a state where I can't fulfill it anymore. And therefore all 4 of them are filled, because that's a fairly big drop in value. It looks like some drop. There's a fairly big drop in value. And I'm not quite clear on how I accommodate that. Unless I just sort of hard code that if I have undiagnosed ones, I have to go diagnose them. And I never pick up undiagnosed ones unless I'm completely empty. That would hard code it, but that would seem really strange. Oh man, how do I do that one? I hope I understand the problem. I might have to, I'm getting tired on this again. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to come back and think of it, because I know what the issue is, and I haven't figured out the scoring approach. And I didn't quite anticipate this part of the problem being so hard, is that we can do it score-based, but it makes it incredibly hard because we can't just hard-code certain logic. We can't just sort of hard-code logic that at the diagnosis thing, that diagnosing is worth super amounts. Yeah, I just don't know how we do that. Unless I do scores differently based on each position. Hello, IKFS. IKSF, sorry. We're stuck in a corner here. We have an unidentified sample, and my bot refuses to identify it. And the reason he refuses to identify it is because the predicted value of the unidentified sample is worth more than the actual resulting value. Well, not really, but because of a couple things, because of probably this trigger here, we get stuck, and actually, you know what? This trigger shouldn't consider if there's undiagnosed ones. That might actually point it around. Player 0. Yes, we're at Silver League. I managed to get there this morning, and I'm really tweaking scores. It's like the fundamental algorithm isn't changing. We're putting little tiny bits in the score and tweaking it. It's making a fairly large difference. And something I did this morning bounced me right to the top of bronze into the middle of Silver League. It's diagnosed. If it's not diagnosed, okay, this should clean up that. Wow, this just feels so arbitrary, though. I wonder how long the guys in Gold and Legendary worked on their algorithms. I know a lot of these guys on the site, it looks like AI is just there. They're just awesome at it, and I'd love to get there, but it's just really, I don't know. What the hell did my robot just do? Nikez, possibly. It would I don't think it's that hard. I set it up to do that. I actually set it up so we could actually look into the future. So it was totally designed around that, but I haven't actually done that. Okay, whatever I did, this change here is a bad idea. That just screwed it up here. And we have a to-do here, though. To-do. This blocks identifying unidentified samples. Yeah, and that's that was an unintentional change I just made now, which allowed him to do that. So we have the thing here, and we're going to take to do and coin indicates hard coding sample selection is okay. And what'd you say? 1 until expertise 12, 2 until 18. I guess, yeah, that's correct. You don't see what molecules need until you diagnose them. And that makes the scoring really difficult. You have this uncertainty aspect in here. And the uncertainty makes scoring really hard because when you have something uncertain, you predict its value, and then when it becomes certain, the value may be less, and I'm predicting that value, and that's really kind of weird what I'm doing. And it's because of this could fulfill stuff. When I'm stuck with 3 things I can't fulfill, it gives these minus values, which prevents me from identifying stuff. And there's something interesting in tweaking here. And so the first thing we could do is basically, do we step into the future, or do we take nCoin's approach, which is hard coding sample selection? It is very random. But there's no randomness in our code. Our code is entirely deterministic. The actual game is not random. Or the game is random, but our code is not random. But what happens is in our game, to explain why we have this weird thing, is that if we go into the stepping function, get the main loop starts here. So the main loop, we read our turns in, we clear all the turns, and we enumerate all the turns. What this does is that, given our current state, we figure out everything we could possibly do from this state, and then we say get best turn, and then we execute the best turn. Now what get best turn does is it goes through all the turns, it takes the current state, it duplicates it, and applies that turn. It says, well, I'm going to apply this turn, and then it's going to say, well, what's the value of that turn? And that is, what's the resulting state? How much does the resulting state have for a value? And then it takes the best value out of that. And this is why we have this randomness, this prediction problem, is that when I have an unidentified sample, this apply function nonetheless has to apply it. And so it has to pick values for that. And so if I look for the from rank function, it's right here, apply connect samples. It says, okay, we're going to push a sample on that's called from rank, because this identifies it. And from rank says, well, give it a random ID, that's not relevant to our algorithm, and its health is going to be -1 because it's unidentified. That's the first thing it does, and it gets a rank, and this sets it up. No, I'm not trying to mess with the opponent at all right now. And apply connect. And so apply connect diagnosis is the place where we really deal with this. Apply connect diagnosis, this is the tricky bit right here, that we're actually doing something slightly wrong here, but we don't have a big option. Is you're saying we're just guessing, and the moment this may be actually wrong, and it really messes with things, because the value of this could be less than the value of the unidentified sample. But I tried to adapt that, and it's I figured that out. But then we have the issue that for samples, we have these catch-alls here, these 2 ones here, that basically says if you can't fulfill it, and could fulfill is important, but this can fulfill clause here then comes and gets in the way. Let me just take it out. Let's see what happens if I take that out. So yeah, you got a bunch of stuck stuff, so that's bad there. Alright, so what can we do here? expertise in this game is, if you look at these little numbers here, is that, okay, I don't have any. Let's look at his example, because he has some in this one, is that as you fulfill samples, you get bonus expertise sometimes. And those sometimes, then you get to fulfill samples with one less value. So it speeds up the rate at which you can fulfill things. So how do I want to do this? Could you ask if the sample is diagnosed? Alright, so let's just do this. Say QS out. And let RS be equal sample.rank is less than or equal to 2. Actually, there's only ones if match. Sample.rank 1, 2, 3, what's our expertise value? Total expertise, total expertise. Total expertise equals self.players. Well, these are just, okay, we're going to say if, do a sliding scale here that total expertise is less than 12, then these are worth 1, else 0. So this is the hard coding. Greater than 12, expertise is less than 18. These are worth 1, else they're worth 0. Total expertise is greater than, oops. And we could do a slight overlap here, just so we don't flip-flop, because the moment we get one expertise, we don't want to ditch one, so we can leave it in there. 1 else 0. And this will be times 10 as it was before. Now we have a bunch of errors. This must be an if statement. Text. If it's something or something else, then it's definitely worth 0. Alright. Now, this is just hard coding it. I'm hoping that's hard coding it. That was just the last one. Should be the new one coming to run now. So this takes too long to collect expertise, though. But I already have enough. Walking around like an idiot doesn't help. Oh man, come on. Alright, I thought 12. And Quinn, are you sure it's 12? How do you get 12 expertise so fast? Because I'm not even close to 12 expertise in the game. I reduce these numbers. But how do you collect 12 so fast? Because if I do nothing but fill them up, I don't get to 12. Thank you very much for the subscription, Al-Nimai. That's correct, Al-Nimal or Animal. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the show. So in Korean, that's I just don't get to 12. How are you getting to 12 so fast? Because am I doing something wrong? Obviously I am. What mistake am I making? So I pick up 3, I identify 3, I fill as much as I can, I dump them, I go back and fill more, I dump them, I go collect some more, collect, dump, 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 collect more. Now the fact I hold 1 that whole time, maybe that's the issue there. Like 12, I'm nowhere close to 12. I'm at 9, 10, 11. Now I'm up to 12, but game's almost over now. Oh, now I act like an idiot. Oh, I know why I act like an idiot there. Okay, so yeah, the way I'm doing that is I'm not actually analyzing that. I just started picking one at random and then fulfilling it more. Okay, but I know why I got stuck in a loop there. I got stuck in a loop because of this. We do 2 and 3. That should at least break the loop. Now, let E score equal sample.expertise. Okay, and Corin, we had this problem that some of them don't have expertise on them. Is that correct? Do some samples not have expertise on them? I think I broke the loop and... Okay, that's weird because we got input that definitely had a 0. We had an input of a 0 for the expertise. Do you know what that might be? We actually had to handle it. Ah, come on. Okay, and I know what the value here is. The problem here is that why is he not fulfilling them? Yeah, it's weird. The 0 kind of pissed us off because we definitely have it here in the input. We have a special case that's 0, and I have to put no for expertise, and it's like the weirdest thing. Yeah, Nikaz, I'm seeing that. He always has... That's a really weird interference pattern. Yeah. Okay, what did I just change? Okay, this can't be times 10 because then giving one up doesn't work. I have too many values here. It's just really getting difficult to track all these individual values. I at least want to see me not... I have to get out of that loop there. And I'm having a real trouble with the scoring to avoid loops. So we're doing better this time. But we run out of time. Okay, so we run out of time on this one. Let's see if... Let's make this the final one. Let's see if this approach... And I'm actually having a hard time with the scoring as a whole because the loops are a real problem in the scoring. And the basic problem I have with the loop is that, and it has to do with the identification and the giving up, is that when you give something up, you lose one potential score and you gain some other score. And I'm just not sure how to address that. If I have to go through my whole scoring again and come up with a new pattern to it, to ensure that the real score is worth a lot. But the issue with that is that, yeah, maybe I just do the look ahead. Maybe the look ahead works even better. But I'm willing to bet we don't have enough time with the current formula to actually do a look ahead. So that one's not a satisfying loss. That one looked legitimate. Let's watch a few of these and then call it a night. I'm wondering if wouldn't it be a better strategy just to throw away everything that was 1 health. And I think I've seen guys do that. Like right here, when you have the rank 1 ones, if they have 1 health, just toss them in the garbage, because they just cost too much time for what you get out of them. So we've made absolutely no progress. None. None, 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 none. The way I started the evening is the way I'm ending the evening. It's disappointing again. This morning I did progress, but I did a lot of work on paper by drawing little graphs and little dots and circles and stuff. And I don't know where it is, so I can't show you anymore. I think I threw it out. And I think I'm going to have to do the same thing again. This is a little bit... like the scoring in this is very difficult. It's not straightforward. On a lot of the other AI ones, the scoring was a lot more straightforward, but this one is like super complicated, the scoring, because it is kind of a state machine. And I haven't found a satisfying way to satisfy these scores yet, such that I don't keep making mistakes. Because every time I add another bit of inputs, we basically screw up the whole thing. And, alright, whenever it's got mad at me, that's fine. So I'm just going to save this again, git commit edA-qa sci no progress. So we were at 60 something, but now we're back down to 167. I have that saved. We could go back there, but I think I'm just going to have to go through the individual bits of code and just really look at it, what I wanted to do. I don't know if I'm going to do that tomorrow, though, because I really wanted to work on the Leaf compiler tomorrow. My current project on Leaf is I want to get it display something on the screen. I think I'm going to use SDL and actually open up some graphics, because I want to start showing graphics in Leaf. And this was supposed to just be in the evenings, and I can't spend the whole day on this unless I find it. But that gives us put in a tight position because the competition starts on Friday, and so whatever I don't get, whatever we ever are by Friday is basically where we're going to be stuck at. So tomorrow evening, if I do live, which I can't guarantee I can do live yet, it's hard for me to do some of this stuff live, and this might be one of those cases where I get stuck. So I don't know. Maybe tomorrow evening I'll come back. Maybe I'll have done some work. I don't know where it is. I wanted to get further. I'd really like to push all of our bots into Gold League. That's my initial goal, is Gold League for all of them. But maybe if we come back later, it's possible I understand something better as well. Because again, when we started this work, when I started Evening Rust, I had actually done an actual live, real programming. I mean, virtually zero AI, just a few test assignments for other people. Actually, I helped mentor one people, so I walked through neurons for somebody. That was the extent of my AI. I've done nothing else. Like, I've done machine learning, so this is all kind of new. I know the basic ideas, but applying them is a difference, and every game is different, so it's not horrible. I think we're doing all right. We're in Silver League, and our approach is okay. The question here is that, can I tweak the scoring enough, or do I have to do two looking in the future? And I think we have to look twice in the future, or a little bit in the future, because there's a couple things we don't evaluate right now. The one critical thing is we never exchange here, because we cannot do an exchange. And the other one, when we evaluate one step in the future, is if we're going somewhere, you can't evaluate that. You should have to at least evaluate going somewhere and evaluating one step at that location, and that would help a lot. But also the baseline scoring, the loops, if I can get rid of the loops, how I do that. And whether I just hard code things or not, I don't know. But it appears other people have problems with loops too. In this case here, he's stuck. My guy never gets stuck though. At least I keep doing stuff. And I might have to consider the other guy, because I notice when the other guy gets stuck, I do exceptionally well, which means the interference from the other people is causing me problems. And we took a little bit of that today. I do throw away samples if the other guy has the molecules, but that's a bit weird. So I'm not quite sure. Again, I don't know where I stand on this. I don't know what I'll do tomorrow, but I thank you all very much for watching, and if I don't come on tomorrow, then again on Monday I'll have the Fuse show. Wednesday I'll be taking a break. Thursday I'll definitely have a show, so Thursday we might do this again, or I might do Leaf on Thursday. I might start the new Leaf broadcast on Thursday if I get far enough. Depends what I do tomorrow. But definitely on Friday we'll be starting the competition. I'll start with it live. I might read the instructions beforehand. I might get a start earlier in the day so we can go whole day and see how far we can get in the competition. And we'll get it right through there, and that'll be through the weekend. We'll be doing the competition. So I thank you very much for watching and for all the tips and stuff you got. I got to apply some of this, and also for the subscription, Alnimal. That was great. Thank you. And I look forward to see you again tomorrow during the week. Thank you very much.